What's going on, Knicks fans? Welcome to another edition of the KFS pregame show, the last one of 2022. My name is Andrew. His name is Sean, and we are here to preview the Knicks' upcoming matchup against the Houston Rockets, a rematch for those who care of the 1994 NBA Finals. Yeah, that's significant still. We are going to preview this game. We are going to talk about the vibes currently around the franchise. That five games
thereof.
The 5 games ago were immaculate. The conversation around this head coach, we could hint at it. I got to be honest with you, because Sean, who most of you know, does our Twitter Spaces show and did a full 2-parter, 2 hours. It was outstanding. I was listening to some of it in the car this afternoon, and I'll just start here, Sean. Before we preview the Rockets, the Knicks obviously just lost to the Spurs. They were playing so shorthanded, and the Spurs had so much go right for them that you want to give them a pass, but it is their 5th straight loss, so you have to take that in context. I understand the frustrations with the head coach. I have them. I'm not like, you can't fire him. Just from a practical standpoint, let me ask you, the vibes and the conversation that coming from everybody, it's very much, well, this is what we would do. I just don't see this front office firing this head coach anytime soon. I don't know. Do you feel like it's a little futile that we're arguing about this, like something that's not going to happen? Or do you think that there's a world where like this could actually spiral to a point where, this could go a different direction with leadership?
I think there is a world where it could happen, but to your point, it requires things to spiral out of control.
Yeah.
So it basically, because this team at full strength is too good to lose 17 of 20 like last year's team did.
Mm-hmm.
But, things happen, injury here, injury there, Tibbs being Tibbs. And then all of a sudden you lose 7 of 10. And if a lot of them are at home, which this team isn't very good at home, they're 8 and 9 at home, 8 and 10, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is a world where Tom Thibodeau will lose his job. However, I'm blanking on this guy's name, but Doctor Strange, right?
Yes. The one in, yeah. There's only one outcome. Exactly.
There's one outcome.
Fuck. Sorry. Apologies for the kids.
Breaking news.
Jalen Brunson is out tonight.
Oh, I knew that was happening.
Right, but also, fuck. Sorry again to the children watching.
Shout out to the children who are watching the Knicks pregame show.
Yeah.
Because
I just randomly yelled the F word, okay?
It's okay. It's all right.
Whatever. I apologize.
Well, my son's upstairs, but...
Okay, I'm glad your kid's not watching. Okay.
But if this team stays where they are, and right now they are 18 and 18, if this team finishes 41 and 41, unless that 41 and 41 includes a 9-game losing streak with 4 ridiculous losses at home, embarrassing losses at home in front of the chairman of Madison Square Garden Sports, followed by Johnny Bryant coming in and riding the ship and then running off another 8-9 in a row. And after they get to 41-41, this coach is going to be here for the rest of the year. So it doesn't bang your head against the wall is futile to me at this point.
That's my only thought is I feel the frustrations. Dirty Dancer just brought it up in the chat. I was not happy with. I thought Armeo quickly played like a warrior the other night. They had 2 options on offense, and it was Julius do stuff or quickly do stuff. And the only reason it was any puncher's chance of a comeback the other night is because Emmanuel quickly played at a level that a lot of people believe he can play at consistently. And it was in minutes that people have been asking for him to give. And then for him to kind of just they don't matter because we lost in the post game. I'm sorry. That's just not an answer I want to hear from a head coach. Having said that,
he said that?
So let me pull the direct quote. See, now
Because
I
I will
gotta
be
get it.
perfectly honest with you, and I said this to you in our KFS pregame group chat.
Mm.
After Tuesday's debacle, I specifically, humble brag, I was in Miami. I specifically scheduled a dinner reservation for 7:30 p.m.
So you
I am
can miss it.
not
Yeah.
dealing with this, or I will not. I will only deal with half of it. And by the time dinner ended, I looked at the score and I was like, glad I made this for a dinner reservation. So I didn't see the post game. He said it didn't matter.
So here's the full quote. Now I will say Quickly also said the same thing, but the the quote when he was asked about like Quickly, what do you think of his night tonight? The quote was that's going around is numbers when you don't win don't mean anything to me. There is more to it. There are other words before and after this quote. You have to go watch it. Quickly also then when asked about his career night said, I mean, we lost both games, so career high or not, it kind of sucks. It don't really matter because we lost. So like player did echo head coach. Having said that, I would have thought that's an opportunity to be like, yeah, he stepped up. It stinks. It doesn't matter because we lost, but year 3, it's what you want to see out of a player that steps up like that. Like things like that is what you want to see from your head coach. Now, maybe he is doing it behind closed doors and we don't see it publicly, but I wasn't a fan of the quote. I just assume, and this is just I'm gonna lob this to the hive and then please leave me alone forever. I don't understand why Cam's not playing. I assume there is an agreement that we don't want I don't want my player getting hurt from his agent, and I'm not letting Tibbs just keep him on the bench until you trade him. That's my best guess because they actually could use like a small forward right now that could play the 4, play the 2 at the moment. Right? I mean, if you're gonna tell me like, well, he was bad the last time I saw him, Derrick Rose has been bad every time I've seen him for like a month and a half now, and Evan Fournier was so bad that we didn't see him for that month and a half. So if he's able to play, then I'm curious who's available and why certain people aren't available. I throw all of that at you. I just don't think. I think the front office, like they're 18 and 18. They're hovering around 6th. They're like they're top 10 in offense, top 12 in defense, top 11 in net rating. Like there's enough positive that the front office is not going to have any reason to justify, and they're shorthanded, so they're like going to give them a pass. What I am curious about, if you want to project a little bit, so they play Houston tonight. Then you go forward to Phoenix and then San Antonio, like Phoenix without Booker. Man, could they like how quickly does this turn around? Like how long before it turns around at least? Because I don't like I made the mistake against the Spurs the other night saying like this is a must win, this is a should win, and then it was like midway through the second quarter, it was like, oh, this offense is so very limited. How do you see it turning around, and how do you see it turning around?
It'll turn around, but it will turn around when they get all their guys back. Simple as that.
So that might actually be a good segue then real quick to the Houston Rockets, because this is the team they're playing tonight. Look how bad they are. I thought the Spurs were bad, but like here's the funny part. Keldon Johnson went off the other night. Romeo Langford had the best night of his life against the Knicks. You're peeking out the side of the graphic. That's funny. They are 29th in offensive rating. They're not 12th in defensive rating. They're 20. I think they're 27th in defensive rating, and then 27th in net rating. They are very funny.
They're terrible.
Yeah, they're bottom 2 or 3 in a lot of these advanced categories. They don't pass the ball well. They don't their assist turnover ratio is terrible. They turn the ball over a ton. Like we're upset that the Knicks don't make a ton of threes. Neither do the Rockets. Jalen Green, who is a stud. Like I do have like high hopes for Jalen Green.
He's a bucket.
He's a bucket, but not a consistent bucket. His effective field goal percentage is lower than RJ's this year. So think about that. Their best player is worse than RJ Barrett this season, at least. Now, Kevin Porter Jr. is really good too. The Knicks should be able to win this game tonight. I also recognize that I watched the game on Wednesday. They're going to need so much more from so many other places on this roster, namely Mitchell Robinson, namely Quentin Grimes, namely a bench player. And it's why I'm not like, I can't go in with the same confidence that they're gonna win tonight. Where are you on this?
No, listen, you can't have after Thursday, because I can't depend on Quickly and Julius to combine for 77 points again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, you can also say that Quentin Grimes ain't going to go 1 of 10 again. And hopefully Mitchell Robinson scores more points than I will tonight. But with this, and this is where the frustration with the head coach is palpable, and I understand it. And don't get me wrong, if it was up to me, I would have fired Tom Thibodeau, not because I think he's a bad coach, but because what should be done eventually must be done immediately. With that being said, because of how this head coach goes about things, with his rigidity and what he believes in, and because of I've always said that Thibodeau can be innovative, but he waits until his back is absolutely positively against the wall before he makes the changes that need to be made, they could lose tonight. You know, I was in Hoop Spaces like a few weeks ago. This Rockets fan came there and he said, "Listen, we're not good, but if you underestimate us, we will beat you." And he's exactly right. Like if the Knicks walk into this game thinking, "Oh, we got this, we're good," it's like, nah, because the Rockets are 10-25, right? But they beat the Jazz, they beat the Mavs, they beat the Hawks, they beat the Suns, they beat the Sixers, they beat the Bucks, they beat the Suns twice, they beat the Bulls. Like, if you take this team, if you underestimate this team will beat you. And hopefully Thursday was the wake-up call that says, like, we can, because I didn't watch the first half of the game, so I don't know if they came out sleepwalking. I heard that they were up and then Evan came in and then everything just went to shit.
Yeah, I'll fill you in a second. Yeah, it's basically that. Yeah.
Listen, I said after Tuesday, when they said after Tuesday's debacle and when it looked like RJ was going to be out for a few games, I said, by God, is that Cam Reddish's music? And apparently it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he thinks his back is against the wall. So he probably thinks he can win with this 6.5-man rotation because Hartenstein and Sims are one guy. And then Rose and Fournier are another guy. And then it's 5 that are left. There's 7 guys. I think he thinks I can get through this game and then we'll see what happens.
Well, we hope. We hope. I'll say that. Even more to the point of, and look, I lobbed it to the Hive. I don't care if he plays. I really don't. I think it would help them. I also can't guarantee it's going to be like a difference maker. He could look just like he was in the last Dallas game. Like, I'm not like, it's not the straw that breaks my camel's back. If he's available and they're not using him, then you are not using all of your tools at your disposal. And what happened in the Spurs game, they went up 23-18. And with 3:20 left in the first quarter, they went to a TV timeout. And when they came back, you see Evan Fournier on the floor. And I was like, oh, we're getting 48 minutes. And they were promptly outscored 14-3. They were 14-5 the remaining of the quarter. Scratch that, 20-5 the remaining of the quarter.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
They scored 20 points in 3 minutes.
I have to double check. I know they were up 5 and left the quarter down. They were up 5 and left the quarter down by 9.
That would be...
Now, like, it's funny. I couldn't necessarily. He was a -14 in the first 3 minutes that he played. So it was one of those things where it's like you don't want to blame one guy, but man, does it feel like this is a different game now that like the bench is in the game now.
14-5. It went from 27-24 Knicks to 38-29 Rockets.
So it was a 15-1 run or a 14-1 run. That's what it was. Oh, the Knicks at 29, 14-2. That's the exact
14-2.
time. Okay. We're professionals, I promise. The point being is that it immediately became like, oh no, like this might be now they're down double figures against the Spurs. And then they couldn't get a stop in the second unit in the second quarter. Mitch looked lifeless. Grimes, all of the closeouts he was attacking against the Mavericks, he just wasn't doing. His shot was not falling. Now, look, shout out to Reliquum Gaming, the Remnant. Big game for Grimes tonight in Houston. He's back home. He got to have a home cooked meal potentially.
Probably his V Live last night, but that's neither here nor there.
Regardless, he was able to be in his bed that he grew up in potentially. I believe like he grew up in Houston. He didn't just go to Houston, right? Okay.
I believe, he's from Houston.
So
he was very happy when the Astros swept the Yankees and then had to delete that tweet.
That's right. I forgot. Regardless, I think you're gonna get something from him that is more than what you got the other night. You cannot get less from Mitch than what you got the other night. The Knicks were being out offensive rebounded consistently for the first 3 quarters. Then in the fourth quarter, they were in panic mode and they picked it up. Plus, because Pirtle is on a minutes restriction, he didn't play a ton in the fourth quarter, and that gave the Knicks a chance. But good Lord, I am very hesitant about this game tonight, and it'll lead right into betting and sweating. I went from very confident that they'll be able to erase what happened in Dallas, with this game, and now I'm like, I don't know. I really hope they don't. I really, really hope they don't lose 6 straight after winning 8 straight, and the last 2 being to 2 of the worst teams in the NBA.
Yeah. Tuesday just shook us all to our core.
Yeah.
And then to follow up with, honestly, not just Tuesday, it's last Friday.
Well, yeah, the Chicago game
was the start. Yeah, Chicago was the start. Then Christmas Day, not as much. I mean, yes, it sucks that the fourth quarter of Doom showed up, but we lost to a better team.
The one team has James Harden and Joel Embiid. Man, I can't get too upset.
I'm not going to get too upset.
Yeah.
Same way I didn't get too upset when we lost to Milwaukee. Both times, there and at home is like, all right, they have Giannis and we do not. And listen, the thing about Dallas is like Dallas, you could say like they have Luka and we don't. However, Luka was down 9 points with 33 seconds left.
That's the thing. That's why Tuesday did shake us to our core, because they were 30 seconds away from arguing my favorite win of Tibbs' era. Like, that was a culture win. That was a gritty victory when you were so shorthanded and there were 30 seconds left. Every bad decision and bad thing that could go wrong happened. And lo and behold, they're now staring 6 losses in a row in the face tonight. So we will try to reverse the mojo of all of this by getting into betting sweating, presented by the fine folks over at WynnBet. Download the WynnBet app now or visit www.wynnbet.com to start winning. Sign up today to receive a special offer. You bet $100, you win $100. That's bet 100, win 100 at wynnbet.com. Download Bet Win. I am pulling up the trusty WynnBet website now. The lines are currently locked because, of course, they are.
There's no Knicks line. There's no Knicks props available.
There's no spread tonight right now for WynnBet. They're still adjusting to the Knicks to Brunson news. So technically the Knicks, it's a pick'em game, minus 0.0. The money line was minus 175 as far as player props go.
Yeah.
There's no player props. There's some game props.
Yeah. I would say this. If for the money line to be minus 175, that means the Knicks should be favored by 4.5, 5.5. I would say it will probably be like Knicks 4.5, 5.5.
Wow, we're doing guess the lines now. Yeah.
Nothing crazy. I would say, you know what? I would guess that it's probably going to be around 4 when it unlocks.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to do. Here, I don't need WynnBet for me to help me with my pick.
Okay.
So I'm going to go out on a limb. Because as everyone knows, I've been very reliant on Knicks first quarter money line. Or Knicks first quarter spread, depending on what the odds are. The numbers say that I should take the Knicks because, as I'm going to pull up from my good friend Tom Bassine, this is as of 2 days ago, the Houston Rockets have a first quarter net rating of negative 10.9, which is fourth worst in the NBA, while the Knicks have a first quarter net rating of 8.4. Now, the San Antonio Spurs had a first quarter net rating of negative 16.4.
That's
we
why
saw how
it's
that
tough
ended.
to look at that, man. Like I know you're right, but it's also very tough to look at that.
Here's what I'm going to pick. I am going to take. Let me see if they got some. Okay, they don't have it here. Okay, as of right now, I'm going to take Rockets first quarter money line, and here is why. Because I believe that half of that team was in V Live last night. And if you don't know what V Live is, Google Houston V Live. It's safe for work, but don't Google in front of your significant other if she's not one for establishments.
Is this one of the reasons why James Harden might go back to Houston?
Yes, that's why.
Got it.
So I'm going to take Rockets first quarter money line.
Rockets first quarter money line?
Yes. I'm taking Rockets first quarter money line, which is currently plus 125, I think it is. Whatever it when WynnBet unlocks it, whatever that is, I'm gonna take that. Straight vibes, no cogent analysis. It's that these dudes are out last night and they're gonna start off slow because last night was their New Year's Eve, because tonight they'll be on a plane to Phoenix.
Gotcha.
Oh, actually, maybe they'll get to Phoenix. Well, maybe they'll get to Phoenix fast enough and then go to Bottle Blonde, but whatever. Yeah, so that's my pick.
Okay, so XJ said he's going with the Knicks money line, whatever it is. I'm gonna give. So I don't know if Mensa's actually answered us yet. Mensa is gonna give. Oh, he did. Okay, Knicks first half against the spread. So you're going first quarter money line. XJ's going Knicks money line for the game. Mensa's going Knicks first half against the spread. I'm going Julius Randle, points, rebounds, and assists, whatever the first positive money line is. Julius Randle, God bless him. And like I guess we should mention the Sean DuVernay report that the Knicks and Pacers have talked about Obi Toppin. I would not like this. I would understand why
the Knicks definitely would not like this.
No, him or his Obi Hive would hate it. Julius Randle is playing outstanding right now, and like to the point where when he got hurt for a split second the other night, I was like, "Oh no, Julius!" And it was the first time I've been like, "Oh, this is our guy." Like I actually feel for our guy getting hurt. Probably this season, because it's almost like we've been at a distance trying to be like, oh yeah, he's doing great, but like it's still, we need to trade him. And in that moment, it's like, oh no, like this is a guy that made us all like really happy 2 years ago, and he's playing out of his mind. Does he have his shortcomings here and there? Yes, but I really do believe he's gonna make the All-Star team this year, and we're all gonna have to kind of internally justify wanting to trade a two-time All-Star, which the Knicks have not had many two-time All-Stars, which is why I'm not surprised that we might see some Obi Toppin trades coming soon. That is the last place I want to see him go. A, because I hate the Pacers. B, because I just do not need like every Obi Toppin alley-oop from Tyrese Halliburton. Two guys the Knicks, like one guy the Knicks took over Halliburton, one guy the Knicks should have taken in Halliburton, flourishing in Indiana. Having said that, if it means it's just in the vacuum of them getting like a Buddy Hield or an actual piece that could help them, I can understand why they do it. Even if I would hate it. What are your thoughts on the Obi rumors that came out today?
As someone who follows English soccer and European soccer, which is chock full of transfer rumor bullshit, I have this
Ah,
rule that
okay.
I will believe it when I see him holding the jersey.
Gotcha.
Because
Okay.
I'm old enough to remember a month ago, Emmanuel Quickly was going to get traded. I remember Colin Sexton was going to become a Knick. I remember Dame Little was going to ask out of Portland to come pair up with Julius. And it's like, no. Like, when I see him, listen, have they had discussions? Sure. If they didn't have discussions, they wouldn't be doing their job. Someone asked on Campus Study Hall today, like, do you think the Knicks should look into trading for Trae Young? And I said, well, if they didn't ask or do their due diligence, they're not doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I listen, when I see him holding the jersey, or when I get the Woj bomb or the Sham bomb, then I will believe him. Until then, it's just silly. It's just like in English football, they say we call it silly season, where literally just like so and so is linked to this team, and then like whatever. Like now, at the same time, it doesn't seem ridiculously outlandish because we all know a consolidation trade is coming. They have completely mismanaged the asset in Obi Toppin, and he is going to be extension eligible along quickly. And I don't see them paying both of them. So that's where so from that standpoint, it has legs, but I will believe it when I see it. Other than that, whatever.
I mean, that would put the nail in the coffin of any Julius trade.
Well, the
flat out
Julius
would.
trade, yeah, well, I said I got called a company man by this for someone whose name I shall not mention.
Okay.
But Julius is going into star trade, not before, or unless someone bowls them over with the offer they can't refuse.
Yeah, him or RJ. Like that's the thought I have, is that both of those contracts being below market value, and especially with the cap going up, like you use one of those two in the deal to take yourself to the next level, and then you're left with the other. And look, like Julius, well, that's a conversation for the summer. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All that being said, I agree with you that it's much more, it's much smarter to wait until it actually happens before we actually react to it, the rumor of it potentially happening. Two quick things. Reliquum again, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody watching as well. This will be the last pregame show we do in 2022. I will also just make a bit of an announcement. This is our last pregame show for a little bit. We're going to be reworking it to potentially be something else. We're still going to be doing betting and sweating, but just no longer sponsored by WynnBet. Shout out to WynnBet. They've been a great partner for the last couple months. That partnership has ended, and we look forward to, working with other great places in the future. And as far as the pregame show crew, you're going to be seeing them pretty consistently on the KFS podcast feed in the not too distant future. So stay tuned for that on your Knicks Film School podcast coming soon. The betting and sweating will take place. We'll tweet out the tweet that sends that out will take place. And if anything, we'll be able to send it out sooner because we're not at the mercy of the pregame show. But I will say Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for spending your New Year's Eve with us, whether it be on pre or post. And then also in the chat, Mino F has a question for you, Sean.
Oh, I saw it, and I put it in the. I responded in the chat.
Oh, you responded. Okay.
My favorite team is Tottenham Hotspur, which are basically the Knicks of the Premier League. So I just hate myself all over the place. But yeah, that's my team. There's actually a comment in the chat that's interesting. Whatever. I'll leave it alone.
You can't say I hate that. You can't bring it up.
Blue Diamond Gem says Randle's a negative asset. I'll say the quiet part out loud.
What's negative about it?
Blue Diamond Gem, respectfully.
Not anymore.
Negative implies that you'd have to attach a pick to get off of him. That is not the case. And listen, the Knicks could trade Julius Randle tomorrow if they wanted to and not have to attach anything. They have chosen not to. So to say that he's a negative asset when he is literally on an all-star conversation, like, I understand that there are people that don't like Randle and want Randle out of here for last year. And I'm not going to lie. I would have shipped him off in a pontoon boat.
I was one of them.
We all would have.
We were all a ham sandwich time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have
Right
attached
there
a
with
pick to
you.
get off of Randle because I didn't see this coming. But to say he's a negative asset is it's a bit of a stretch.
So
You may not
if
like him, but
if the
that's a stretch.
if the thought from Blue Diamond Gem is that like because like his impact on the team is negative in the sense that like because he's here, Obi can't flourish. Because he's here, RJ stuck being third and only third. Um, he's like Tibbs will always defer to Brunson and Julius first and foremost. Our ceiling is capped by whatever Julius is. I empathize with that. I do. I'm like Randall has rehabbed his value so much. The parallels to what has happened to Pascal Siakam are so strong. Like Siakam had an All NBA season, took a step back the very next year, and then the following season, which was last year, made All NBA again. Like I don't think Julius Randle's going to make All NBA this year, but I think he's going to make the All Star team. Like that is in play, and it's why I'm understanding if the front office wants to like, all right, we got our guy back. Like we can commit to him. We can go back to this commitment, and maybe it does make Obi more of an asset than it means. The pivot to Obi in the future. But we'll see. We'll see. Sean, any thoughts on the Rockets before we head out?
I was gonna say please beat the Rockets, but I put nothing past these guys. So
Yeah.
look, like I said, listen, I forget I forget that Rockets fan name, and I know he's not watching because he's a Rockets fan. But if we don't take this team seriously, they will beat us. So let's see. And honestly, again, like with the minutes distribution, like how like that's part of the reason why I feel like this Rockets first quarter bet is not the worst thing in the world because they played a ton of minutes. And I'm okay right here. And Quick played 43, Randall played 42.
Who else was
Grimes
playing?
played 36.
Real quick, who else was playing?
Who else is playing?
Who else? Like, I've heard a lot about the minutes distribution this week. Like,
no, I understand that.
oh, just as a circumstance of the minute distribution, you're saying,
yes,
okay,
yes.
I gotcha.
It's like, but yeah, like it's not like some people in the sacred timeline have been calling for 3 minutes, and I'm like, that's not happening.
There's a reason nobody in the league is playing him unless the game is up by 30. Like, that's just not a thing, you know?
Like he would have got minutes last year in the COVID season, for us in the COVID season. Like
real talk, the Cam thing is that's why I'm assuming there's an agreement above Tibbs' pay grade that
yes.
Cam's not playing until he's traded. Like, that's the only thing I can make sense of it. We got Evan Fournier minutes the other night, and their entire bench was at least a -9. Derrick Rose looks cooked and played 16 minutes. Like, Isaiah Hartenstein has been unplayable, and he's playing. Like, anybody that's like they're playing the starters too many minutes this week, I just like, who else are they playing? The two of their three best players are out.
Yeah.
So I don't have any. I do hear you though. It makes sense if you want to go Rockets first quarter money line, because of how overworked they are.
And
so
the quiet part here's the real quiet part out loud.
Okay.
I don't even think it's that quiet. Derrick Rose might be finished.
Oh, he's cooked. Like that.
I mean, like he was Fat Elvis. I don't know if he's washed. He's definitely Fat Elvis, but I don't know if he's done. But So to your point, who the hell is we going to play?
Right. Like, I think Derrick Rose is cooked, but he's playing him anyway. To Mano F just said, I don't think there's an agreement. I think he was asked about it by the media not too long ago, and he said they seem to know more than him. And I'm saying that it goes above Cam Reddish. Like, also, not to like, I believe that I don't think he was lying to us. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know. This might be an agent front office thing that, like, don't play my guy, like, don't risk injury. So when he gets to his next stop, we will work to move somebody. Like, I was talking to JD over at Knicks Fan TV. We have like a back and forth DM going on, and he's like, when is the trade happening? Why is he still here? And it's like, nobody's been traded yet. The Lakers still have Russell Westbrook. Like
That's
nobody's
right.
been traded
No one's been
yet.
traded yet.
So I'm at the point where I think a domino will fall and then trade season will begin. The Cam Reddish trade last year was January 6th or 7th.
Mm-hmm.
It was after January 6th because the RJ game was
Yeah, it was
January
after the
6th.
RJ game. Yes.
So that's my thought, is that once a domino falls, you're gonna get like 4 weeks of everybody suddenly being available and being potentially moved, especially if the Knicks remain shorthanded, you know?
So my question is this: why don't they just send him home? Why do they keep him on the bench?
Because he's a good teammate. Like that, the
No,
Kemba
but I
thing
mean,
was like, go home, you know?
yeah, no, I understand. But at the same time, it's like for a front office and an organization that cares about optics so much, what sense does it make? If you have come to an agreement that we're not going to play until we trade you, why have him on the bench with his hoodie on, sulking? I mean, yes, he's up like when good plays happen, he's up and but like just send him home. Like if he's not an option, then just send him home. But as long as because not send him home, but like don't have him on the bench because as long as he's on the bench, it's like why aren't we playing this guy? Why aren't we playing this guy? Like when the Rockets sent home John Wall, no one's like, why should we playing John Wall? Why? Because John Wall's not there.
Yeah, yeah. Your guess is as good as mine. Fournier was also not sent home, and he was on the bench for 6 weeks. You know, like I think it was just like you're on the team technically, but like show you're a good teammate. And look, Manoef asks again, like feels like him playing would up his value. Fred made this point on the pod the other night. Yes, it could potentially up his value. It also could hurt it depending on how he plays, and especially if he gets injured. And I don't know about you, but I don't know if I'm an agent wanting my player to go someplace else. If I want Tom Thibodeau getting his hands on him, it's like, oh, fresh legs, you know. So that would be my thought, at least.
So
Look, if he's available, then I have so many more questions and even more frustrations with Tibbs. Because you can't tell me Cam's worse than what we've gotten from Derrick Rose, from Isaiah Hartenstein, and this just goes back to I trust these vets more than I do Cam.
I think that I actually think that okay, him not playing, his value cannot get any worse.
Yeah,
and I actually think that when you sit a player down, the longer you don't see them, the more you then start thinking about the farther you get away from the last time you saw said person, which for Cam was that Dallas game, which he didn't look good. You start saying to yourself, well, maybe, and you start thinking about the good times, and then you like, and the example I always give is Ben Simmons, because when Ben Simmons, after that game 7 against Atlanta, and then Ben comes out and says, trade me, his value was a ham sandwich. But him being out for so long, all of us, because I remember at the time it was like, well, the best offer you're getting for him is Buddy Hield, but he was out for so long. After a while, people started talking to themselves like, well, he's all NBA defense, and he was an all-star, and that time he did this, and of course, people push back and say like, what about Game 7? It's like, oh, well, that, because and then you get James Harden from him. So I think him being out the rotation, his value can't get any lower, and I actually think it can go up because people will listen. You see the Cam Live all the time; they're talking themselves into like, yeah, if we bring him back, he'll da-da-da-da. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, well, whatever.
So. Also, what's his agency? Like you telling me a clutch client's values ever going down? One tweet from LeBron. Why isn't Cam playing? And there you go. Okay. I think that'll do it for this edition of the KFS pregame show. Thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight, as well as all of these pregame shows. We greatly appreciate it. My thanks to Sean. If you want to give him a follow, his handle is on the name tag underneath his face. If you want to do me a favor, you can follow me on Twitter, but you could also be an even bigger help and head on over to YouTube and give this video a like and the channel a subscribe. Tune into the post-game show with Mr. John Macri afterwards. Hopefully it's the post-game of the game that broke the losing streak. But until next time, thank you for listening, everybody. Let's go Knicks. And into 2023, let's ride.